I ghosted my fiancé to party with my ex 2 weeks before our wedding, but he made a quiet plan behind my back. What happened next became my worst nightmare. 3 months ago, I was a successful commercial real estate broker in Denver, engaged to a forensic accountant who worshipped me, living in a gorgeous downtown loft. Now I'm unemployed, industry blacklisted, and sleeping on a 20-year-old mattress that smells like cat piss. And the worst part? I did this to myself. I need to tell this story. Not for sympathy, I know I won't get any. Maybe just to warn others. Or maybe because I still can't believe how thoroughly I effed up my entire life. Damon and I had been together for 4 years, engaged for 1. The wedding was set for June 15th, a $75,000 affair at this exclusive mountain venue outside Aspen. Everything was perfect. Too perfect, apparently, for my self-destructive sauce. 2 weeks before the wedding, I ran into my ex, Rafe, at a professional networking event. He's a high-end personal trainer now, owns 3 gyms, drives a Maserati, the whole thing. Seeing him brought back memories of when I was 22, wild, no responsibilities. He looked good. Really good. And when he said I looked incredible, that marriage was going to tie me down, something in my brain just broke. I went home that night and picked a fight with Damon. About nothing. About how he loaded the dishwasher wrong, which turned into how he was too rigid, too boring, how I felt suffocated. He tried to calm me down, asked if it was pre-wedding jitters. That pissed me off more. I told him I needed space to think, that maybe we were rushing things. The look on his face should have stopped me. This quiet, calculating look I'd never seen before. But he just nodded and said, "Take all the space you need." I packed a bag and went to my sister Bianca's place. Told her Damon and I were taking a break, that I needed to be sure. She was thrilled, she never liked how boring he was. That night, I texted Rafe. What followed were the most exhilarating and ultimately catastrophic 2 weeks of my life. Rafe took me to Vegas that first weekend. Private jet, turned out he was dating some tech heiress but she was in Europe. We partied with his crew, all successful entrepreneurs and fitness influencers. I felt alive again. Young. Desired. I posted everything on Instagram, the clubs, the pools, the champagne. I wanted Damon to see. I wanted him to panic, to blow up my phone, to fight for me. He didn't. He liked one of my posts, a group shot at some rooftop bar, and commented "looks fun." That was it. It made me furious. And more determined. The second week, Rafe and I were basically inseparable. I stayed at his penthouse in Cherry Creek. We went to every hot spot in Denver, always with his entourage. I made sure mutual friends saw us. I even went to a restaurant where I knew Damon's coworkers hung out. The whispers, the shocked looks, I fed off them. Rafe was everything Damon wasn't. Spontaneous, dangerous, dominant in a way that made me feel conquered rather than cherished. When he effed me, it was aggressive, possessive. He'd grab my throat and tell me I was his, that I'd been wasting my time with that pencil pusher. I believed him. I posted a photo of us kissing at his gym's anniversary party, didn't tag him, but anyone who knew us would recognize him. Still, Damon stayed silent. Just one text on day 10, "The wedding venue needs final confirmation on the menu. Should I handle it?" I replied, "Do whatever you want." He said, "Will do. Hope you're finding the clarity you need." That was it. No begging. No anger. It infuriated me, but also thrilled me. When I came back, he'd be devastated. He'd forgive me, he always forgave me. We'd have passionate makeup sex, get married, and I'd have gotten this out of my system. On day 13, Rafe asked if I was really going back. I told him I hadn't decided. He laughed and said, "Good. Because I already told Alessandra about us. She's cooling off in Mykonos, but she'll be over it by the time she gets back. Rich girls always are." That should have been my wake-up call. Rafe wasn't choosing me, he was just enjoying the chaos. But I was too high on the attention to care. On day 14, I decided to go home. Rafe was already pulling back, making excuses about needing to focus on a new gym launch. I knew the game, I'd played it myself before. So I texted Damon, "Coming home tomorrow. We need to talk." He replied, "Can't wait to see you. I'll be at work when you get there, but make yourself comfortable." I drove home feeling powerful. I'd had my fun, proven I was still desirable, and now I'd go back to my stable life. Maybe postpone the wedding a few months to make Damon sweat a little, but ultimately move forward. I practiced my speech, how I needed to know I was choosing him freely, How this made me more sure about us. I pulled up to our building at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. The doorman, usually chatty, just nodded and looked away. Whatever. I went up to our floor, already imagining Damon's face when he came home to find me there. My key didn't work. I tried 3 times before noticing the boxes. 8 of them, neatly labeled with my name, sitting by the door. On top was an envelope with my name in Damon's precise handwriting. My stomach dropped, but I told myself he was being dramatic. He'd change the locks to make a point. I'd cry, apologize, and he'd let me in. Then I opened the letter. It was dated the day after I left. The mother effer had started this the day after I left. Kendra, by the time you read this, you'll have had the 2 weeks of space you requested. I've used this time productively. As you'll discover, I've removed your belongings from the apartment. Everything you owned prior to our relationship, plus gifts you received from others, are in these boxes. I've donated the items I purchased for you to charity. The tax receipt is in box 3 if you need it. The apartment lease was always in my name alone, as you insisted when we moved in to maintain your independence. I've exercised my right to remove you from the premises. The doorman has your photo and has been instructed to call the police if you attempt to enter. Regarding our joint accounts, I've withdrawn exactly what I deposited, plus interest, leaving your contributions untouched. The accounts are now closed. Your funds are in a cashier's check in box 1. The wedding has been cancelled. I've personally contacted all 186 guests to inform them of your decision to end our relationship. The venue, vendors, and all deposits were in my name, paid with my credit card. They've agreed to hold the deposits for a future event, should I need them. I've also taken the liberty of ensuring our professional and social circles are aware of the situation. The security footage of you and Rafe entering his building at 2:47 a.m. on June 3rd, your Instagram posts, and the photo from his gym party have been helpful in providing context. Your sister Bianca can retrieve your car from the parking garage. Your access card has been deactivated. I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Damon. P.S. I've changed my phone number. Please don't attempt to contact me at work. HR has been notified of our situation. I stood there reading it 3 times before I realized several neighbors had their doors cracked open, watching. Mrs. Garrison from 4B was actually filming me with her phone. I lost it. Screaming, crying, kicking the boxes. That effing tard. He can't do this. Security arrived within minutes. Not building security, actual police. Turns out Damon had requested a restraining order citing my erratic behavior and abandonment of the relationship. It was temporary, but it meant I couldn't go within 500 feet of him, the apartment, or his workplace. I called him from the parking garage. Number disconnected. I called his office. They said he was unavailable and hung up. Then my phone started exploding. The texts, emails, Facebook messages, they all hit at once. Damon had sent a mass email to everyone. Everyone. Our families, friends, co-workers, the entire wedding guest list. It was professional, cold, and devastating. It included screenshots of my Instagram posts, the kissing photo with Rafe, even a timeline of where I'd been. But the worst part was his summary. After 4 years together, Kendra decided 2 weeks before our wedding that she needed to explore her connection with her ex-boyfriend. I've chosen to respect her decision and move forward with my life. I ask for privacy during this transition. My mom called crying. My dad said he was disappointed but not surprised. My professional contacts, real estate is all about reputation and connections, started distancing themselves immediately. 3 clients fired me that afternoon. Bianca picked me up, ranting about what an idiot Damon was. But even she went quiet when she saw the evidence he'd compiled. Kendra. You actually did this? I tried calling Rafe. He texted back, "Hey, that's rough. Alessandra's flying back tomorrow so I need to lay low. Good luck with everything." That's when it hit me. I'd destroyed everything for a man who was already done with me. But the worst was yet to come. Update 1, 3 days later. I'm posting this update from Bianca's couch. Still processing everything that's happened since Wednesday. First, I need to address something. Yes, I effed up. The comments on my original post made that crystal clear. I'm not trying to play victim here. I destroyed my relationship for 2 weeks of meaningless sex and attention. I own that. But holy SHT, I didn't expect Damon to go nuclear. Thursday morning, I tried to do damage control. Posted on Facebook about how relationships are complex and sometimes people grow apart. Within an hour, Damon's cousin, who's apparently a private investigator, Posted a compilation video. Security footage from my building showing me leaving with luggage. Ring doorbell footage from Rafe's building. Even a clip from a club where I was grinding on Rafe while wearing my engagement ring. The timestamps were damning. I'd left our apartment at 9 p.m. after the fight. I was at Rafe's by 11 p.m. So much for needing space to think. My brokerage firm called that afternoon. They were conducting an ethics review based on concerns about my professional judgment. Translation: you're a liability, and we're finding a way to fire you legally. Colorado is an at-will state, but they wanted to avoid a lawsuit. They placed me on unpaid leave pending investigation. Here's what really got me. Damon had been planning this. His cousin told one of our mutual friends that Damon hired him the day after I left. Not to spy on me, to protect himself. Document everything. Build a legal case. The restraining order? Filed on day 3 of my disappearance, but dated to activate upon my return. He knew. He knew I'd come back expecting everything to be normal. And he let me. That text saying he couldn't wait to see me? He was sitting in his lawyer's office when he sent it. Friday, I tried to salvage my career. Called clients, promised them nothing would affect our deals. But Denver real estate is small and incestuous. Everyone knows everyone. One client, a developer I'd worked with for 3 years, was blunt. Kendra, you ghosted your fiancé 2 weeks before your wedding to F your ex. If you'll do that to someone you love, what would you do to me? My license wasn't revoked, but it might as well have been. No one would work with me. Rafe completely ghosted. Blocked me on everything. Alessandra apparently came back early and he chose his meal ticket. Can't say I blame him, she's worth about $50 million. Saturday was when I found out about Damon's new girlfriend. It wasn't revenge dating. According to his cousin, who was surprisingly willing to talk, seemed to enjoy twisting the knife, Damon met her at a professional conference the weekend after I left. She's also a forensic accountant, specializes in international tax law. Beautiful, brilliant, and most importantly, loyal. They've been inseparable since. He took her to our wedding venue, that future event he mentioned in his letter. He's taking her there for a romantic weekend. Same suite we were supposed to have for our wedding night. The photos on her Instagram are like salt in the wound. She's private, but mutual friends sent me screenshots. They look happy. Genuinely happy. He's smiling in a way I haven't seen in months. Maybe years. That's when I realized something that made me vomit. He'd checked out of our relationship long before I left. He was just waiting for me to F up badly enough to justify leaving. And I gave him exactly what he wanted. Update 2, 1 week later. Writing from a Motel 6 off Interstate 70. Bianca kicked me out. Even my enabler sister has limits, apparently. The last week has been a masterclass in consequences. Monday, the brokerage fired me. Officially for breach of fiduciary duty related to some BS about missing client communications during my 2-week disappearing act. Unofficially because I'd become toxic. They offered me a month's severance if I signed an NDA and agreed not to sue. I needed the money, so I signed. Tuesday, ran into Damon at a coffee shop downtown. He was with her, Marlena. Up close, she's even more stunning. Tall, athletic, carries herself like she owns the world. She was wearing a Cartier watch I recognized, the one Damon had shown me months ago, said he was considering buying for my wedding gift. He saw me. Made direct eye contact. Then looked through me like I was furniture. She noticed the interaction and asked if he knew me. He said, we used to work in the same circles. Work in the same circles. 4 years, and I was reduced to that. Wednesday, the full extent of Damon's revenge became clear. Remember that wedding guest list? It included some of the most influential people in Denver. Business leaders, developers, investors, people I needed for my career. He didn't just tell them we broke up. He created a whole effing presentation. Spreadsheets showing the timeline. Screenshots organized by date. A copy of the restraining order. Even a psychological analysis from a therapist friend explaining narcissistic behavior patterns in relationships. He sent this to 186 people. But here's the kicker, he did it all legally. No lies, no embellishments, just facts. Even the therapist analysis was carefully worded as general observations about behavioral patterns, not specific to any individual. Thursday, I got drunk. Very drunk. Made the mistake of going to Rafe's gym, thinking maybe we could talk. His business partner intercepted me at the door. Turns out Alessandra bought a 30% stake in his gym chain. I was, quite literally, bad for business. He handed me a cease and desist letter. If I contacted Rafe again or came within 100 feet of any of his properties, they'd pursue harassment charges. A cease and desist. From a man who had his DK in my mouth 2 weeks ago. Friday, my lawyer reviewed everything to see if I had any recourse. Short answer, no. Long answer, effing no. Damon had been meticulous. Every action he took was legal. The apartment was his. The money he withdrew was his. The wedding cancellation was justified by my abandonment. Even the mass email was carefully crafted to avoid defamation. Everything was factual or clearly labeled as opinion. My lawyer actually laughed. In 20 years of practice, I've never seen someone destroy another person so thoroughly while staying completely within the law. Your ex-fiancé is either a genius or a sociopath. Both. The answer is both. Saturday, rock bottom. My car got repossessed. Turns out Damon had been making half the payments as a gift. When he stopped, I couldn't afford it on my own, especially without a job. Watching them tow it while my neighbors filmed was a new level of humiliation. That night, I finally broke down and told Bianca everything. Not the sanitized version where I was finding myself or exploring my options. The truth. That I'm a narcissistic BCH who destroyed the best thing in my life for 2 weeks of meaningless validation. She listened, then said something that cut deep. You know what the effed up part is? Damon really loved you. Actually loved you. And you treated him like a safety net. She's right. For 4 years, Damon was my constant. Reliable, stable, predictable. I'd push boundaries, he'd forgive. I'd flirt with others, he'd pretend not to notice. I'd threaten to leave, he'd beg me to stay. Except this time, he didn't. Sunday, today, Bianca asked me to leave. She can't afford to be associated with me anymore. She works in PR and my scandal is affecting her reputation. Our own parents suggested I take some time away from Denver. So here I am, in a motel that smells like cigarettes and broken dreams, applying for jobs in cities where no one knows my name. The thing that haunts me? Damon never lost control. Never screamed, never begged, never gave me the dramatic reaction I was craving. He just quietly, methodically, removed me from his life like a tumor. And the really effed up part? I respect him for it. For the first time in 4 years, I actually see him clearly. Not as the boring, safe choice. But as a man who knew his worth and refused to accept less. I threw away a diamond while chasing broken glass. Final update, 3 months later. This will be my last update. I'm writing this from my aunt's house in Kansas, where I've been living for the past 2 months. A lot has happened since the motel. None of it good, but all of it deserved. After my last post, I tried to rebuild in Denver. Applied for over 100 jobs. Real estate, sales, marketing, even retail. Nothing. My name was poison. One hiring manager actually told me off the record that I'd been blackballed. Not officially, that would be illegal. But Denver's business community is surprisingly small, and word travels. I ran into Damon one more time. At a restaurant where I was interviewing for a hostess position. He was there with Marlena and another couple. Laughing, relaxed, happy. He saw me in my borrowed interview clothes, clutching a resume. For just a second, something flickered in his eyes. Not satisfaction or cruelty. Pity. That was worse than hatred. I didn't get the job. Last month, I saw their engagement announcement. They're getting married next June. At our venue. On our date. No, that's wrong. It was never ours. I forfeited any claim to ours when I walked out to F my ex. The engagement photo was taken at the exact spot where Damon proposed to me 2 years ago. I don't think that was an accident. He's not cruel, but he's thorough. Every reminder of me has been overwritten with something better. Rafe is engaged too. To Alessandra. Saw it on Instagram before he blocked me on my fake account too. She's pregnant. They look ecstatic. Everyone moved on. Everyone traded up. Except me. I work at a call center now. $15 an hour, no commission. My aunt charges me rent, but it's fair. I'm in therapy, not because I want to be but because my family made it a condition of not completely cutting me off. My therapist says I have narcissistic personality disorder with borderline features. That I see relationships as power dynamics instead of partnerships. That I mistook Damon's kindness for weakness and his stability for boring. She's right about all of it. Here's what I've learned, for anyone reading this who might see themselves in my story. When someone loves you, consistently and quietly, that's not boring. That's rare. When someone forgives your flaws repeatedly, that's not weakness. That's strength. When someone builds a life with you brick by brick, that's not settling. That's choosing. And when you throw all that away for validation and excitement, you don't get it back. Damon wasn't perfect. He was quiet, sometimes too analytical, not spontaneous. But he was mine. Or would have been, if I hadn't been too stupid and selfish to see it. The last thing I have from him is a photo from our trip to Japan 2 years ago. We're at this tiny ramen place in Tokyo, and he's looking at me like I'm the only person in the world. I keep it as a reminder. Not of what I had, I don't deserve to romanticize that. But of what I'm capable of destroying. My therapist asked me recently if I could go back, would I change things? Obviously yes. But not for the reasons you might think. I wouldn't change things to get Damon back. That ship hasn't just sailed, it's been decommissioned, stripped for parts, and turned into a reef. I'd change things because I'm starting to understand what I put him through. 4 years of manipulation, of making him feel like he wasn't enough, of using his love as a safety net while I played games. The 2 weeks I disappeared? That was just the finale. The real cruelty was everything before that. So no, I don't want him back. He deserves Marlena. He deserves someone who sees him clearly from day one. Someone who doesn't need to lose him to appreciate him. What I want is simpler and impossible. I want to not be the kind of person who would do what I did. But I am. And that's my consequence to live with. To everyone calling me a narcissist, a BCH, a sociopath in the comments, you're not wrong. But I'm also a cautionary tale. Don't be me. When someone loves you, love them back. When someone chooses you, choose them too. When someone builds with you, don't burn it down for the thrill of watching it burn. Because once it's ash forever. I won't update again. There's nothing left to say. Damon, if you somehow read this, you won. Not that it was a game, but you won. You got out. You found better. You were always better than I deserved. And Marlena? Congratulations. You got the man I was too stupid to value. Treat him well. He'll love you forever if you let him. As for me? I'm exactly where I deserve to be. Alone, broke, and full of regret in effing Kansas. Don't be me. Edit, since some of you asked, yes, this is real. No, I won't provide proof because I've humiliated myself enough. And no, I don't expect sympathy. I wrote this because my therapist suggested I own my story publicly as part of accountability. Looking at your comments, seeing how much you hate me? It's actually helpful. It's what everyone in Denver thinks but won't say to my face anymore. Edit 2, to those asking why Damon was so cold, I left out a lot about our relationship history. This wasn't my first time pulling SHT like this. I'd threatened to leave before, had emotional affairs, constantly compared him to other men. He forgave and forgave until he didn't. He wasn't cold. He was done. There's a difference. Edit 3, for those saying this reads like revenge PN fantasy, I wish it was. I wish I was some incel writing fiction. But no, I'm just a woman who destroyed her own life in the most spectacular way possible. Believe it or don't. I'm still living with the consequences either way. Final edit, turning off notifications. To everyone who shared similar stories of being cheated on, I'm sorry. Your exes were probably a lot like me. Self-absorbed, validation-seeking, treating love like it's disposable. You deserved better. To those who see themselves in my behavior, get help now. Before you become a cautionary tale on Reddit. Before you lose someone who would have loved you forever. Before you end up in Kansas wondering how you effed up so badly. Learn from my mistakes. Please. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.